to our top 10 quick comic picks. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our quick show where we show you about 10 of the biggest and best books that are coming out this week to your local comic book store, or if you shop with us at infinityflux.net, they are available to order right now. So head on over there and place your orders because this is a great week of books. So let's get into it.
Yeah, we are going to start with Aliens versus Avengers #1, another Jonathan Hickman joint with Esad Ribic on art. And let me just say real quick that this is a great book, but what you see on the cover here isn't necessarily what you get. This is more like Avengers Twilight, but with aliens. Xenomorphs have taken over the planet and basically decimated the whole place. There's one city left standing, but it's set in the future, so some of the heroes that are there are older, but they are going to have to first learn what the heck these xenomorphs even are, and then come up with a plan to stop it, which seems impossible because they are so indestructible.
Yep. Next up, I've got in issue 3, it's X-Men #3, probably the best book that came out this week. It was just nonstop from beginning to end, and not even all action. There was a great conversation between Cyclops and this Agent Lundquist, who you talk about verbally sparring, about learning a bit more about why the X-Men have the base that they have now. But all of this is going on. Some people are breaking into the facility, and it is up to the X-Men that are left in there to prevent them from doing anything. Just an overall amazing issue.
And next up is the Marvel 85th Anniversary Special. This is a one-shot celebrating 85 years of Marvel Comics. The main story of this is set in the 85th century in this floating space station known as the Museum of Heroism. There are a bunch of artifacts, heroes artifacts in there that this tour guide is showing off to some people, and he's telling them stories of heroes in the past, and then that's what the rest of this is 5 different short anthology stories, just featuring Kamala Khan and Spider-Man and Moon Knight and some other heroes
and the
too.
Spider Buggy.
Yeah, the Spider Buggy, that's right. And yeah, just a really cool anthology book celebrating 85 years of Marvel.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Next up, we've got Universal Monsters Frankenstein. This is the new one from Michael Walsh in our line of Universal Monsters books. And this one is great because this actually takes the perspective of a child who is mourning their father's passing, only to get interrupted by Frankenstein digging up the grave for body parts. And the kid follows Frankenstein, sneaks with him, and finds out what his plans are with it. And it looks like this book, each issue, we're going to follow kind of a different body part of Frankenstein and how it became part of the monster. So if you enjoyed the other ones, definitely check this one out. This one is awesome.
Well, next is the 0 Hour 30th Anniversary Special. And full disclosure, this one did not come into our shop until today. So we did not get a chance to read it all the way through, but we did look through it, read some of the first few pages, and this looks great. So this is actually set back during 0 Hour from 30 years ago. This is a very Kyle Rayner centric book. So Kyle Rayner fans, you're going to enjoy this. Lots of different artists working on this, and it's very action packed too. Lots of stuff going on, lots of characters who maybe we haven't seen in a long time. So if you're a big fan of 0 Hour or that time period for DC, you're definitely going to want to check this out.
Next up, I've got NYX #2, and this one is focusing on Laura Kinney, Wolverine, as she is investigating someone called Mr. Friend, who a lot of the young mutants are being drawn to willingly, but she thinks something is a little up with this and goes kind of undercover in this organization to find out what it's all about. And of course, there's a big twist at the end. But if you want to see Laura Kinney almost dressed and acting like she was way back in the original NYX, this one is really cool for that.
Well, next is the Incredible Hulk Annual, which this is part 6 of the Infinity Watch storyline. But if you want to just read a cool Hulk story, kind of a one and done story, definitely pick this up because this entire issue is a knockdown, drag out fight between the Hulk and Thanos in the forests of Oregon. And almost every page is just them punching each other, knocking down trees. It's extremely action packed. The art is fantastic. You don't need to worry about it being part of the Infinity Watch storyline because it's basically just its own book and it's fantastic.
Awesome. Next up, one I've been looking forward to, I Lie Popeye. This is, if you remember it from the free comic book day book, it is Popeye meets Dragon Ball meets One Piece.
Mhm.
This is the perfect meshing of a 90-year-old character and like manga action.
Yeah.
It is so cool. It's so over the top. It's got just those big over the top action scenes that stuff like Dragon Ball Z would have. And if you missed the free comic book day book, this does contain that entire thing in it, but continues it from where that left off. You've got stuff about why Popeye gets his powers from spinach. How many power moves can he do per cans of spinach? It's just insane and awesome. Uh, Check this out. This is amazing.
Well, last for me is Phases of the Moon Knight #1. This is going to be, I think, a 4 or 5 issue miniseries, each issue with a couple of different stories in it. The first story in this is about Shroud's short-lived time as Moon Knight. It takes place before Blood Hunt, and it just shows how absolutely brutal he can be. But he loves almost the negative attention that it's bringing to the name of Moon Knight. And the other story is set in the year 1200, where a farmer named Cassian joins the Crusades, but that eventually leads him to take on the mantle of Moon Knight hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and he ends up going up against a foe that longtime Marvel readers will recognize.
Mm. And lastly, for me, it's Void Rivals issue number 12. Yeah, issue number 12 continue to bring surprises in this fantastic series. This wraps up the second story arc of Void Rivals. And not only do we get the first appearance of another weird creature from the Transformers universe, the ending of this, I feel like, blows the doors wide open on what could potentially be maybe one of the biggest crossovers in the Energon universe. We don't know quite yet what it means, but it's going to be something big. So check out Void Rivals issue number 12 because it continues to be one of my favorite books coming out. And that is it for our top 10 quick comic picks. Hopefully, you found something here that interests you or you learned a little bit extra. So you can go on infinityflux.net or come by the shop and pick up one of these books now that you know a little bit more. Stay tuned for our longer video going over these books, their variants, and a lot more coming up very soon. But until next time, see ya.